Happy All-Star Weekend, Boston Celtics fans. We've got two players participating representing Boston. That's Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Well, I thought maybe Derrick White or Jrue Holiday could possibly be on that roster. Nonetheless, I'm super excited to watch the guys play basketball with other players that do not involve Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis. But I did have a moment of reflection. Boston right now is number 2 in the Eastern Conference. We are trying to catch up with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But overall, I think the Boston Celtics have had a pretty good season. So I'm going to give a grade to each player on the Celtics roster for the first half of the NBA season and maybe discuss what they can do to get better in the second half. Before I jump into that real quick, if you guys want the Celtics to go back-to-back as champions, go on ahead, give this video a like. If I see 800, 900 likes, I'm going to know that you guys really, really, really want another championship, and how could you not? Especially when this roster is still fully stacked. Let's go ahead and talk about number 1, Jayson Tatum. I'm overall going to give him an A+. I think Jayson Tatum is playing some of his best basketball in his career. He's being selfish, he's being selfless, all at the exact same time. I do think that he has developed more muscle, so it's allowing him to not so much rely on that three-point shot, but to dribble down inside and get a lot more post play up. And even the game that happened last week, when Jayson Tatum was ruled as questionable, decides to play and against the Miami Heat, in the second half of the game goes absolutely nutty, and Jayson Tatum decides to go for a 30-piece when he was like, I wasn't really feeling too hot. Tatum said that he's hard-headed, he wants to keep getting better, and it's not in his DNA to really sit out and watch basketball, but he has to play it. I think Jayson Tatum is going to be the key to help us going back-to-back, and I have been nothing short of impressed by Jayson Tatum's skills this season. Same with Jaylen Brown. Alongside with growing the muscle, I have seen him start to develop more of a shot at all 3 levels, and his defense has also gotten a lot better. Not to mention, the left hand is surprisingly not an issue this year. Yeah, he has some turnovers here and there, but overall, it's an A+ performance. Jaylen Brown has taken his weaknesses and turned them into strengths. And he's been doing a lot of stuff off the court, too, for his own personal brand. So I think balancing that and still coming in and playing night in and night out, I've noticed that the Celtics have started to rely a little bit more here on Jaylen Brown, even though the last week he was dealing with an injury. So we do hope Jaylen Brown comes back well-rested and recovered from All-Star Weekend. Same with Derrick White. I'm actually going to give him an A-. There was a little bit of a shooting slump there for Derrick White for a couple of weeks that got me a little bit weary. And unfortunately for Derrick White, they did come around December and January when those slumps hit. So that's why I think it did factor into his All-Star voting, and unfortunately has yet to receive his first All-Star nod. But Derrick White, throughout the month of probably the second half of January and February, he's been hitting his threes. He's been playing defense. He's been gaining about a steal a game. He's still blocking some of the best bigs in the NBA. Derrick White is continuing to find his stride, knowing that he does still have some weaknesses to improve on. But in terms of keeping that backcourt locked down, especially since Jrue Holiday has been injured, I think overall Derrick White has had an A performance. Holiday, however, falls into the B category for me. I haven't been as impressed this season with Jrue Holiday. And, take it with a grain of salt. He's still playing really good basketball. But I have noticed that when it comes to a role player like Holiday, you're not ever really necessarily leaning on his points, but I feel like I've been getting little to none from Jrue Holiday. Yes, he's still averaging about 12 points a game, but between the injuries and between the lack of scoring, I feel like I haven't been able to get that full-hearted Jrue Holiday skill set that we saw last year in his first year as a Boston Celtic. His defense is definitely still there. I see him flip the switch in some games and, stay pretty monotone in other games. But if he can continue to be a defensive terrorist, I think that that's going to be really helpful for Boston moving forward. Offense, you're not relying on his points, but I would like to see a little bit more scoring from Jrue Holiday moving forward. Kristaps Porzingis, I think after that injury, December was a little bit shaky. He definitely wasn't playing his best ball, but January and February might be some of the best of his career. He is draining everything from downtown. He is playing phenomenal, aggressive rim protection, scoring around the post, working on that elbow mid-range floater. Kristaps Porzingis has now gone back to his role last year, which was we're pretty reliant on KP to be the separator, to help us either win, barely win or blow out. Because when Kristaps Porzingis plays, there are very little losses. And I know that we had to deal with it playing basketball without him for about a month and a half in the first half of the season, but hopefully we can have him stay healthy all the way through the end of June. I got a question for you guys here. Those are the starting 5 players for Boston. Go on ahead and give them an overall grade. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give them a flat A. You guys let me know in the comment section down below while you're thinking about it. Let me tell you about our sponsor on today's show, and that is PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I'm playing PrizePicks every single game day, and I want you guys to join me, producer Lopez, and 10 million active users. Super, super easy to play. All you have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. That's right, up to 1,000 times your cash. You can pick your favorite players on a professional or collegiate level, teams and players. And I know that the All-Star Weekend is here, and you guys can also make picks on the dunk contest, the three-point shooting contest. There is something for everybody, so be sure to find what fits you. Not to mention, you can play in over 30 different states, including Cali, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. And right now, they are accepting MasterCard. And their withdrawal process is even easier. When my PrizePicks hit, I know I can get my money in as little as 15 minutes, fast, safe, and secure. So if you guys want to go on ahead and get started, download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Big Al Horford, 38 years old, but certainly not playing like he is 38 years old. Something that I've noticed about Al Horford is those games when Kristaps Porzingis is not playing, Horford really hits his strides. He's doing such a great job off the box score of boxing out and trying to facilitate by pick and rolls. I think if Al Horford continues to keep that up in the same way he's done last season, this season, we should be on the path back to champion. So I'm going to give Al Horford an A overall. I mean, hell, I'm not going to be playing basketball like he is at 38. So I should have given him an A+ just because he's doing it at the age that he is as well. Payton Pritchard is going to get an A+ from me. Pritchard is playing his best basketball of his career. He's been leading the standings of Sixth Man of the Year the entire season pretty much. And Pritchard has now developed a role where it's not, all right, let's put Pritchard in. It's, all right, let's put Pritchard in. And there is a difference. He has become reliant in his scoring, his defense, and his offensive rebounding. I would love to see Pritchard continue to get better because what he's playing right now is phenomenal basketball. Sam Hauser, I had a little bit of a worry here just because Hauser's three-point shooting, which he is primarily known for and used for in Celtics rotation, hasn't been as flawless as we have typically seen. But even Hauser said after a game last week when he hit 5 threes, he goes, look, it's not always going to be 40%. This is basketball. There's ebbs and flows. So I don't have any issue with how Sam Hauser's been shooting, but I do think he can get a little bit more consistent because if your name is going to be called off the bench, Sam Hauser, you know it's going to be for catch and shoot three-pointers. So you hopefully might want to make them. Overall, I give him a B+. Luke Cornett, who not only gives us entertainment when he makes a big play, but he's actually been providing some of the biggest plays for Boston more recently than not. Kristaps Porzingis being out sick, playing against the New York Knicks, having 3 blocks on Josh Hart in the first quarter. Luke Cornett's confidence has skyrocketed. Has anybody else noticed that? When you watch him play, it doesn't feel like a lanky Luke Cornett who's just la-di-da, hope I get 7 minutes. He's in there, and he's defending that rim with no mercy. And I always think it's funny when these bigs try to put Luke Cornett on a poster. You can't. Yeah, sure, you could put it on his head, you could send him to Twitter and blah, blah. Luke Cornett doesn't care. He has always said he doesn't believe in not defending the rim when somebody's going up there for a dunk. And I think that just speaks to his character. The guy isn't worried about embarrassing himself or getting dunked on. He wants to defend that rim with no mercy. And that's why I give him an A+. Big Nimi Keita, gonna have a B-, but it's not bad. I got B-minuses all throughout school, and look where I am. Nimi Keita hasn't gotten as much minutes as I probably would have thought he would with Kristaps Porzingis not playing back-to-back and Al Horford as well. But The only reason why I give Neemias Queta a B- is because I still think he's struggling with the court vision and the fouling. When he comes in, he plays really aggressive, which I do like. But I wish that his court vision was a little bit better. It doesn't always have to be, pivot in a 360 and end up traveling it away. I wish that he would have that kind of third eye in that peripheral where he can find that no-look pass, kick out, back to Drew Holiday once he's brought all those defenders down to the rim. So Neemias Queta, to me, does still have a little bit of tweaking to do, but overall, not in a bad shape at all. So I give him a B-. Let me ask you this. Who needs to step up after All-Star Weekend? Which Boston Celtic needs to play better heading into the second half of the season after All-Star Weekend? Go on ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. The two-way player, Drew Peterson. I've really grown fond of Drew Peterson. I think that on offense and defense, he's a pretty good player, but you just really don't see him a lot, respectfully. As a two-way player, we don't call on him until it's garbage time minutes. But when Drew Peterson comes in there, I think that his basketball IQ is aligned with all the other Celtics. I think he's really great at knowing when to catch and shoot or knowing when to catch and facilitate, and I think that he has a bright future ahead of him. So overall, he's developed a bigger role this year, and I think it's working out for him. The same can't be said for Xavier Tillman. I think his role got smaller because he's not producing anymore. He's going to be my lowest grade of the day at a D-. Xavier Tillman used to average 13 minutes a game, and now he's back down to 7. And he's shooting like 25% right now from the field. I think that his aggression's gone. I think that his defense is really shaky right now. I'm not 100% sure why he wasn't dealt away at the trade deadline, respectfully, but I just don't know if Tillman is the first guy I want to call off the bench. Now, last year, when he locked up Luka Doncic in the finals, that was huge. That was honestly a momentum change. But this year, I haven't seen anything from Tillman that's like, yes, that's it. That's a Tillman I want to see. And that's a little bit unfortunate because I am a big fan of Tillman, but so far, he's given me a D- performance. Jordan Walsh is an A. Walsh has embraced the minutes when he can get them. And like I said, with the center depth issues that we have had with injuries and whatnot, Jordan Walsh has blown me away with his tenacity. He is just a headhunter. He wants to keep the ball in play. He wants to assist. He wants to pick and roll. He wants to guard the best guy on the other team. And I think that as one of the, if not the youngest guy on the team, I think that speaks to how he's been taught, how he's being coached. Joe Mazzulla is a big fan of Jordan Walsh's skills, and I am as well, and I'm excited to see how his role is going to develop over time. Same here with the rookie. I'm going to give him a B. I think Baylor Shireman is kind of in that Neemias Queta category where he just needs to learn a little bit more. His fouling is still not my favorite when he does come in off the bench, but I think his catch and shoots are really, really great. He's really good defensively. He's got a nice build, a good kind of power forward build where he's not afraid to get sturdy, lock his knees, and take that hit. So I think as Baylor Shireman just gets more reps in the NBA, he'll start to become a pretty good role player. And speaking of role player, last but not least, Torrey Craig. I'm going to give him a B+, the same grade I gave him after his debut. He's only played one game for the Boston Celtics so far, but you can tell this is going to be a game changer for bench players, for the Celtics moving forward. When Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they're not having that game, having a guy that fits in the Mazzulla ball, having a guy that knows how to mesh with other different types of talents. He can shoot at all three levels. He can defend really well. He's a great two-way player. I'm very excited to see how Torrey Craig's role will increase as the more minutes he gets coming off the bench from Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics. So last question for you guys here. If you're excited for more Torrey Craig highlights in Boston, go on ahead, like this video for me. I already missed Boston Celtics basketball. We will be back next Thursday against the Philadelphia 76ers. Be sure to hit that sub button for me if you guys haven't already. That way, you know all about the latest news and rumors around your favorite team.